Thanks so much for joining me. The wildfire situation starting to become a little bit more concerning across British Columbia in recent days. Really looks like we're starting to see the consequences of that long-term drought out there. It just has not rained enough in recent months across central and southern BC. Of course, it's been hot, dry, and windy in recent days, which dries out our forest vegetation and sort of primes it, makes it more flammable. And then we've been seeing a lot of ignitions across the landscape as well. So there you have it. Wednesday evening satellite imagery showing a lot of action from central through southern British Columbia. The Bonanza Creek fire here really showing a lot of activity there on Wednesday evening as well out here in the southeast near Kimberley with the Matthew Creek fire as of Wednesday evening. We've got a lot of fires burning to the south and the Pacific Northwest as well. These white cloud tops here that you can see are a thunderstorm system. That's basically the second lightning event that we saw across the Pacific Northwest in about a week. This is associated with the remnants of Tropical Storm Elida moving north, and so we're likely to see even more lightning potential across southern BC through Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday that could be associated with new wildfire ignition. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. Satellite imagery as of late afternoon Thursday showing those fires still remaining active across much of British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest, and very smoky there through much of southern BC, pushing into the western prairies, especially here in southern Alberta. BC Wildfire Service website, super handy tool if you live in BC to monitor the situation here. We've got 85 active fires across BC and 5 wildfires of note. Those are basically just fires that are associated with more public interest. And so if we look here, we've got 3 of them clustered together in the Fraser Canyon there. We've got the Anderson Creek fire, the Brunswick Creek fire, and the Ainslie Creek fire ongoing around Boston Bar there. Of course, to the farther to the east, 2 lightning fires as well west of Kimberley. So that would be the Tower Creek fire and the Matthew Creek fire. These fires also showing some action in recent days and other parts of the province as well. In central BC and the Caribou-Chilcotin region here, these fires all very active west of the Clinton area. We've got a lot of evacuation alerts and orders out there across the province, especially here in the Caribou-Chilcotin and the Fraser Canyon, but also Kimberley there under an evacuation alert at the moment as a result of the fires burning to the west. And then across the province, of course, we've got Category 1 fire bans through much of the central and southern interior, southeast BC, and even southern Vancouver Island there. Basically, can't have a campfire out there given how tinder dry it is. And of course, high fire danger out there across the landscape. A few roads closed as well here, so limiting some road options from the lower mainland to the BC interior. Highway 1 there, of course, closed in the Fraser Canyon as well. Highway 3 east of Hope there, getting into Manning Provincial Park, closed. Both of these as a result of wildfires. We've still got the 99 and the Coquihalla to work with. Of course, in the coming days, still seeing hot, dry, windy weather, so likely to see continued spread of these fires, especially Thursday, Friday, through central areas as well as the Caribou-Chilcotin. These fires really could still continue to grow through Friday. Slight cooling trend for this region as we get into the weekend, but remaining hot, dry, and windy for southern and southeastern BC. So really going to be keeping an eye on this area for the potential of new ignitions. Again, this video being recorded late afternoon Thursday. Things are evolving. They're dynamic. Things could be different by the time you watch this video. So if you live in the region, stay tuned to local media and keep an eye on the BC Wildfire website to see what's going on out there. But given the hot, dry, windy conditions, I would expect to see lots of growth with these fires, in particular here in the Caribou-Chilcotin region, potentially here in the Fraser Canyon as well. And then as we get into the weekend, very concerning fire conditions in southeastern BC that could help these fires grow west of Kimberley. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And as a result, of course, a couple communities under evacuation alert. This fire, the Pear Lake fire just southwest of Clinton, has Clinton under evacuation alert at the moment as well. Like I say, the fires burning to the west of Kimberley, in particular the Matthew Creek fire here west of the ski hill there has Kimberley under an evacuation alert. So we're going to have to keep an eye on those communities through the weekend. Of course, the national preparedness level in Canada now 4. Second highest in the United States, it's up to a 5. Our resources across the board really stretched right now with very active fire seasons ongoing. BC's agency preparedness levels now elevated to 4 for obvious reasons. That could continue to go up to the highest level in the coming days, if I may speculate. Ontario's still at a level 4, but they've settled down out there, out east in recent days, so that may come down in the coming days. Of course, we've got very poor air quality out there. This map has trouble loading for us sometimes, but we've got basically now all of the really poor air quality in North America focused through the Pacific Northwest, British Columbia, and Alberta. Just horrible there in the Okanagan Valley, Thompson, Okanagan, even getting into the Bow Valley and the city of Calgary region. Just very horrible smoke, both from BC and the Pacific Northwest. And given the forecast likely to see continued problems with smoke in the coming days. Let's talk about the forecast and see what's coming. Of course, very hot conditions persisting into the weekend, but then we do see a bit of a cooling trend, a little bit of a moistening trend as well as we go farther to the north, but remaining warm in the southeastern interior there. But we're going to be seeing high winds continuing across the region. So if it's even a little bit cooler and moister in this region, high winds without precipitation, we could still see growth of these fires in this region, but staying relatively warm and windy in the southeast interior. We don't see any rain, which is likely going to be the case. Conditions remain concerning out there. And then, of course, as we get into next week, it's just going to get hot again. So we're kind of in for the long haul here with no sign of significant precipitation. If we look at our precipitation forecast here in southern and central BC, we do see some Pacific moisture approaching the BC coast there, and it'll be a little bit wet there along the coast ranges, southern, central coast ranges there, and even the higher ranges to the east. But as we know, in the rain shadow to the east of the coast mountains, that air is sinking and it dries out, and we're not going to be getting much, if any, precipitation there across the southern and portions of the central interior. So unfortunately, remaining dry out there for us. And as a result, of course, very little in the way of precipitation accumulation. This is 7-day accumulation, showing a wet signal there along the southern and central coast. And of course, in the higher terrain farther to the east, the Canadian, a little bit less with that though than the European, remaining dry for us in our interior valleys. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Of course, there's the risk of lightning Thursday, Friday, even into Saturday here, which could bring us some new ignitions across the southern interior. And given the windy conditions that are expected, we could see rapid growth both of ongoing fires and new wildfires. So here's our wind forecast here. It starts to pick up a bit on Thursday, but really starts to ramp up for us Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm particularly concerned about areas of the southern and southeastern portions of the province there. Could be seeing gusts in excess of 50, 60, even locally 70 kilometers an hour, especially Sunday afternoon there, and remaining breezy for us into early next week before things start to settle down. So that'll actually help move some of that wildfire smoke out of the region once it starts to kick in for us kind of mid to late weekend, but it also means it's going to be fanning the flames on any existing or new wildfires across southern central BC and the northwest part of the United States there. So eventually, once those winds die down, if we've got a lot more active fire out there on the landscape, that smoke problem is going to quickly return. So stay safe out there. Of course, keep the windows and doors closed on your home and avoid spending prolonged time outside. This air is not good to breathe. And thanks so much for joining me. We'll talk to you next time.